Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. My name is Ajiba Mayrajna M. Saruwang and my partner is no other than Mr. Abdul Halim D. Ismail. So today we're going to discuss about our paper entitled Motivation and Attitude of Non-Meranaw Speakers Among Meranaw Teenagers in Iligan City in Learning their Heritage Language.
Background of the study. This paper tackles about the motivation and attitude of Meranaw teenagers in Iligan City on learning their heritage language. This will show different motivation and techniques that these learners are using in learning their heritage language. This paper will also show the attitude of these learners towards learning their heritage language and to the language itself. The study will also discuss about the behavioral and linguistic factors that affect the attitude of this heritage language learners. Nowadays, a huge number of families composing of Meranaw tribe are living outside their hometown, which is Marawi City, for some reason. Iligan City is one of the places that have Meranaw citizens, so that we can't deny that the younger generations of this tribe are somehow losing their cultural practices, including their heritage language. This study is conducted to see if this younger generation are willing to learn their heritage language by knowing their motivation and attitude towards learning their heritage language. Our research questions are the following. First, what are the motivation and techniques of non-heritage language speakers in learning the heritage language? Second, what are the attitudes of non-heritage language speakers in learning the heritage language? And lastly, what are the behavioral and linguistic factors that affect the attitudes of the non-heritage language speakers? Behavior theory. Behaviorism is a theory of learning that states all behaviors are learned through interaction with the environment through a process called conditioning. Conditioning occurs through interaction with the environment. Behaviorists believe that our responses to environmental stimuli shape our actions. Thus, any person, regardless of his or her background, can be trained to act in a particular manner given the right conditioning. Since we are discussing about attitude, it is important to know what are the behavior of these Meranaw teenagers when it comes to their heritage language. What are the environment conditions that affect his or her attitude in learning his or her heritage language? Are these environment conditions are from Iligan City or when they are in Marawi? This theory will help us in identifying what are the instructions and control that these Meranaw teenagers on acquiring over behavior. Input hypothesis was first published in 1977. This put primary importance on the comprehensible input that language learners are exposed to, where it states that learners progress in their knowledge of the language is when they comprehend the language input that is slightly more advanced than their current level. In learning, it is seen to be heavily dependent on the mood of the learner, with learning being impaired if the learner is under stress or does not want to learn the language. This theory will help us in identifying the techniques of our learners in learning and acquiring their heritage language. Since we assume that even they are not Meranaw speakers, they are exposed or was familiar with the Meranaw language. In this, we can be able to see if these learners are motivated or not, and also their attitude to it. Since with this, we can observe different behavioral and linguistic factors in here, since the study may show also a brief information about the Meranaw language. Acculturation model. The process of acculturation was defined by Brown as the process of being adapted to a new culture, which it involves a new attitude of thinking and feeling on the part of an L2 learner. Schumann asserted that the degree to which the second language learners acculturate themselves towards the culture of target language group generally depends on social and psychological factors, where these will determine respectively the level of social distance and psychological distance an L2 learner is having in course of his learning the target language. Learning heritage language is almost the same of learning second language. Since this Meranaw teenagers is totally exposed to the dominant culture of Iligan City, so it is important for them to know more about the culture of the target language. Now, in this, we can observe their attitude to this when they become more exposed to the Meranaw culture and to the language itself. Also, this helps us on identifying what are the social and psychological factors that will determine the level of social distance and psychological distance of the learners to the Meranaw language, where this may show how these factors can also affect the motivation and attitude of the Meranaw teenagers in Iligan City. For the research design, the researchers will conduct a qualitative research and quantitative research in Iligan City. The researchers will have at least 5 respondents, which are all Meranaw teenagers that grew up in Iligan City and was not able to acquire and now learning their heritage language, which is Meranaw language. For qualitative research, the researchers will provide interview questions regarding to the different motivations and techniques that they are using in learning their heritage language, and also what are the behavioral and linguistic factors that affect their attitudes in learning their heritage language. For quantitative approach, will be used if the interview is not convenient to the respondents. It was adopted by evaluating the frequency and percentage distributions of the response of the said respondents. The data to be analyzed will be from the answers and/or response from the respondents. The aforementioned research approaches are chosen to be able to achieve the objectives given in the research problem. Basically, the study will use data and content analysis as a research techniques for the subjective, systematic, qualitative, and quantitative description of the text data.